Hey everybody, Patrick here, Rig Papa on the Vera community forums, and today I'm going to talk a little bit about Reactor Backup. So let's get right to that. You can back up your reactor sensors using the backup and restore that goes along with the settings. Backup and restore that's built into the Vera. You can back it up that way. That's certainly a way to get it done. But Reactor actually has its own backup mechanism that gives you a little bit more granularity, and I highly recommend that you use it. It's really handy to back up stable configurations of your reactor sensors when you get them. You can basically take a snapshot of everything that's working on your Vera and capture it. And then later on down the road, if you're moving devices around or if you're changing your reactor configuration and experimenting, trying to get something to work a little bit differently, to add some functionality to your reactor sensor or whatever, and you end up making a mistake or painting yourself into a corner, then you don't have to restore the whole Vera from backup. The reactor sensor you can actually restore an individual reactor sensor. I'm going to show you how to do that. So the first thing is I'm going to go into the reactor master device. That would be, I'm going to go back here real quick. That would be the device here with the blue icon. The reactor master device always has a blue icon. So I'm going to go into the reactor master device and to the backup and restore tab. And you can see right off the top here, it's telling me my most recent backup. If you don't have one, it's going to tell you that you haven't taken a backup recently. I happen to have backed up the last time just a couple of days ago relative to when I'm recording this video, so on the 21st. But in any case, if you want to do a backup right now, it's just this simple. You hit the backup now button and you're done. You can see the backup date is now changed to 5/27, which is the current date and time now that I'm recording this video, and that's that. So there is now a backup of all your reactor sensors sitting in a file on your Vera. Now that's better than not having a backup at all, but we can take this one more step, and what we would like to do is make sure that we also keep a copy of that backup file locally here on the hard disk of the computer or somewhere on your LAN if you have a NAS or something like that. So keeping that local backup just in case the Vera gets completely roached and you have to restore it. If you don't have that backup file, it doesn't help you. If you have to factory reset the Vera and it erases that backup file and you don't have it someplace else, then it may not be helpful to you. So what we can do is there's a link right here. It says download the backup file, and we don't want to just click on that link. We want to right click on that link, and when we right click on it, we get the context menu from the browser, and one of the things that almost all browsers have is this save link as, where it will, instead of bringing up the target on the screen as it would when we click it, it'll actually save the contents of the target. It'll go fetch the target and then save it to a file, and this is really what we want to do. So I'm going to save link as, and when I do that, you can see it comes right up with reactor config backup.json because it is a JSON file. And so we're just going to save that, and we're done. So we now have a copy of our reactor backup on our local hard disk here, as well as sitting on our Vera, and that's it. Okay, so that's pretty straightforward. Let's talk a little bit about restore. Down here in the restore from backup, I have this. This is the source drop down here, and so I can choose what I want to restore. I can restore everything, or I can choose an individual reactor sensor, and then over here I choose where it's going to go, to device. If I choose all, the only thing I can do is restore everything to devices with the matching name. So I have to have a reactor sensor with the same name as these configurations that were backed up. So I have to go through the work of doing that. Now, if you're starting from a fresh, let's say you're moving, you're upgrading from one Vera to another, between models or something like that, and you're restoring your reactor configurations to your new Vera using this backup and restore method. Doing that, you might have to create, in this case, I have 11 reactor sensors. So I would have to go through the add sensor button on the control tab over here 11 times, which is a little tedious. I could just choose 11 here and say create reactor sensors, and it will bulk create 11 reactor sensors. So that is a quick way to create all 11 devices. So, but in any case, I can choose what I want to restore here, and then I can choose where they're going to go, and then I just hit begin restore. I'll do that now with all, because we just backed it up, so it's all the same stuff. And you can see that they kind of work asynchronously, but when they've all kind of stopped spinning and they say succeeded, that's done. The restore is done. And so now all my reactor sensors are put back to whatever was in the backup file that we just made. I can restore an individual reactor sensor. For example, I can take house mode reactor, and I can either restore it back to house mode reactor as the device with the matching name, or by selecting explicitly house mode reactor, same thing. Or I could restore it to a different reactor sensor if I was going to do something with it. If I was making a copy of some configuration or whatever, I could do it that way. And you can see how quickly that works. So now reactor sensor 11 has now just been given the house mode reactor configuration. So that's it. Backup and restore, pretty simple, very important, might save your life someday, or at least save you a lot of work. So I strongly encourage you to use the backup and restore facility. At least think, write yourself a reminder or something once a month, something like that. Come in here and just hit the backup now button and make yourself a fresh backup. All right. So again, my name is Patrick. You'll find me on the Vera forums as RigPapa. If this video is helpful to you, give it a like down below there. If you want to know when more videos come out, hit subscribe. And I'll see you for the next video. Thanks very much.